So for today's interview, I've got a young lady who I've been trying to get to do an interview with her for a long, long time, and she's smiling there because we're on Zoom, so we can see each other. So that makes a change. And you know what? Is because I've got to be honest. I do know a mum, and the mum's a very big advocate of Vicky's work. So I'm going to embarrass her in a minute.
She's like my PR lady.
So welcome to Word on Our Street, Vicky Nolan.
Hello, hi.
How are
Thanks
you?
for
Are you all
having
right?
me. Yeah, I'm good, thank
Well,
you.
making you laugh already. That's my job, really.
Yeah,
That's what I
perfect.
try to
Love
do.
it.
So,
Making me embarrassed.
no, it's no, genuinely, and you know this because from some of the stuff I do on the radio, and then from starting this, I've always said I wanted to have a sit down and talk about because you've written this amazing book.
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
I wasn't,
Yeah, I
I
have.
wasn't going to say you've written this rubbish book that we'd like to talk about.
Yeah, that would be a bad start. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really glad you like the book. So yeah, I did write a book. Seems a bit strange to say so. Because
Does it
I'm
seem as though that
writing
was
songs.
quite a long time ago now?
Yeah, it was. I sort of lose track of time now. I've had a baby. But yeah, it was a few years ago. But it's still very much sort of an ongoing project. I don't see it sort of ending with the book. So
Well,
it's
we'd hope
yeah.
not.
Well, no, yeah, but I'd love to make a series of them. And at the moment, I'm recording an audio version of it.
Are you?
So yeah, so
So it's
sort of
so just so that for the listeners and people who don't know, if you even if you pick the book up, basically it talks about you as a 15-year-old schoolgirl. That's the
yeah,
start. That's the starting point, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
And I think we should tell everybody that you're an amazing singer. I was going to say.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, basically the book, it's called Scrapbook of an Unfound Songstress, and it's sort of a collection of stories about me as an aspiring singer.
Yeah,
So for many years I tried to make it as a professional singer, as we often say, we're gonna make it.
yeah.
And I just wanted to document the journey, really how the songs came about and all the people that I met along the way, because quite often we don't sort of hear of that sort of side of things, and also what happens when your aspirations change and evolve, because again I think there's such a focus now in today's world to be successful, and I feel like within very limited terms. So I wanted to show that you can be successful in many different ways, and you can define that version of success. So I wanted to make it a really positive story.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a young daughter, and she wants to work in musical theatre, and I think when you're a parent looking in, you see this thing that you said, this thing of making it. When I make it, and
Yeah.
and and I mean, as you know, I work in entertainment, and my idea of making it is actually I've just been able to make a living doing something I love.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It was never going for the fame thing, but
Yeah.
you really had a shot at being a pop star, didn't you? For want of a
Yeah,
better
yeah,
phrase.
definitely. Yeah, I did. I came close lots of times, and for one reason or another, things didn't work out as I'd originally hoped. But it all works out for the best in the end. And sometimes you look back and you go, "Well, I wonder why didn't it happen?" And it's not always the obvious reasons. So,
Yeah, and a lot of the time, and especially in your case, and I see this a lot because I talk to a lot of people who make a living from what they do, but they're not
yeah,
famous, and
yeah,
it's not talent because there's some unbelievably talented people out there who are
yeah,
not famous, and
yeah, exactly.
a lot
Yeah.
of them work in places like we were talking about before, like doing wedding entertainment and corporate entertainment and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just see like you mentioned your daughter. I've got four sisters, but the youngest is only 17.
You've got the biggest family in the world.
I'm sure there are bigger, but it does feel very big. But yeah, I see the world through her eyes, and I feel like there's just so many pressures now, and especially to have things sort of figured out, by such a young age. I mean, do we ever really figure things out? No, we don't. We're always like, learning and
Well, I'm a lot older than you, and
growing.
I've not figured anything out yet. So it's
Well, I haven't either, so you're in good company. So
so can we go right back to the beginning?
yeah,
And so
sure.
so as a 15-year-old kid, for want of a better phrase, you realise that you've got talent, Yeah, and you
Yeah.
realise that you're very good, and people keep telling you you're a really good singer, and it's something you love doing, and you enjoy it, and sort of what was the start of that journey? What was it? What was that like when you went from being somebody who liked singing into a hairbrush in your bedroom to actually realising you were very good at what you do and you were singing in front of audiences?
I don't know. It sort of was quite a natural thing. I just was a very hyperactive, attention seeking, shall we say, child. And
I get that.
yeah, I just loved performing. I loved sort of everyone looking at me, and just, I suppose, luckily I was quite good at singing. Otherwise I would have been really annoying. So yeah, and I just wanted to do more of it, really. So I begged my mum and dad for lessons of some sort. And I
Yeah.
actually didn't know you could have singing lessons. And then I found a guitar teacher, and that's sort of where I started, and then moved on to singing. And yeah, and it just sort of evolved. I just wanted to do more and more of it. And my family is not musical whatsoever, so they had no clue what to do with me, really. But over time you start to sort of create this, what would you call it, where you sort of get to know more musical people, and they sort of say, oh, well, why don't you do this and do that? And then it just grew from there, really. And I wanted to sort of become a pop star. I wanted to just be professional.
And then did someone just sidle up to you one day and say, "You're actually really good. We think we can do something with you"?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of singing teachers, and one of them introduced me to a manager, and this is sort of one of the main themes and stories in the book.
Wasn't the
Um,
question wasn't an accident?
yeah, I just it went from there, really.
Just to
And
show you, I've read some of the book.
yeah, no, no, yeah, so that's how that came about. And then that got me in front of sort of the heads of labels and record labels and that sort of thing, and started writing my own songs.
And does that become really exciting? Is it one of those things where you go, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and there's no negatives around you at some stage? Because
Yeah,
in reading, I'll be honest with you, I've not read all the book, but in what I
that's
have
fine.
read, it's an easy read. It's just, but I've skimmed it, and
You've got a lot
obviously,
of books to read, I'm sure.
yeah, and it seems as though rather than it being a slow thing where you went, "Oh, this isn't really happening," it was as if things came crashing down a little bit. Is that right to say? I don't want to
Yeah,
give all the book away, but
no, not at all. But I think, yeah, for me, it did happen very quickly. So I got with a manager from the age of 16, I think, and then within a year, I'd sort of been offered 2 deals. So it happened very quickly. I was sort of like doing lots of different gigs and working with lots of different writers and producers. Really developing myself in that way. And yeah, I sort of got thrusted into this adult world. I had to sort of be around adults a lot of the time. And had to sort of grow up quite quickly. I've always been a bit of an old head on young shoulders, so I never sort of got carried away in that sense, and that was a little bit of my downfall in some ways. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, and I used to get quite worried about what would happen if things went wrong or things didn't happen,
mm.
and what that sort of thinking can do to your confidence. So yeah, but the story sort of starts from there, really, I suppose.
But then you ended up going to America, didn't you?
Yes, so yeah, throughout the whole thing, and like I said, I don't really, it's hard not to give away too much of the book, but I suppose it is on the back of the book, actually. It does say that
I'm being careful. Don't worry, I am being
no,
careful.
it's absolutely fine. But no, I basically, this manager ended up suing me. So that's sort of when things changed dramatically for me and my family. And I was only 17, 18 at the time. So it was sort of a unique case. I don't think anything had been tried in court of that kind around that time. So, and again, it goes into more detail in the book. But yeah, after that, then yeah, I went to America and worked with lots of different people too. But again, that whole experience changed my sort of worldview and what I wanted for myself. So
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that got me is, and you said before, the family are not from a musical background. They're not from they're not from the industry as it
Yeah,
was. And then it sounds like you just had incredible support around you, because
definitely.
this was going on for your journey, and it did have an effect on the family, sort of financially and emotionally and
Everything, yeah.
everything, didn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
it did. And again, I think that I really wanted to sort of talk about that in the book too, about how these sorts of situations can really test the relationships even within your own family. And you know, quite often in families, you know, if someone has aspirations or dreams, you know, the family gets behind that and everyone puts their energy into it. And without, you know, with all good intentions, it can still be quite pressured and difficult for that individual because you then feel like you have to really achieve it because the
yeah.
whole family, you know, depends on it. So it's very complicated, but I find the whole what would you call it, sort of that scenario very interesting, because like I say, I think it plays out in most families.
Yeah, no, I see parallels in other people I talk to. So I've seen parallels to this in like professional football, where parents get
Yeah.
behind a kid who's really talented, and then so many
Mhm.
people fall by the wayside. And then the same with acting and theatre and things like that, isn't it?
Definitely.
Very talented people then go into this other pool of people, and then for whatever reasons, a
Yeah.
lot of the time, like you said, it's about how they're dealing with it, not talents. It's and there's a lot of luck involved as well, isn't there? I think.
Oh, loads of different variables. It's not just luck or even talent. It's sort of timing and God, even sometimes money. You know, I hate to say it, but yeah, if you've got the funds, you can keep projects going, and
Yep.
you know, financially it can be tough. But yeah, no, I've got you know, a sort of relative on my boyfriend's side who is you know, was a gymnast, and you know, she was very successful, but again, you know, sometimes your aspirations change and that can test the family, so it can be very difficult. But yeah,
So
I talk a lot about that in the book.
yeah, I'm not going to push that too far. so so
Yeah.
at some stage you do go, I'm not going to become a pop star.
Yeah.
That must happen at some stage, and that must have happened with you, because I'm sure you had these visions of bright lights and things, and then
Yeah.
at some stage did somebody go, this isn't happening really?
Well, it was weird because it actually, strangely, it was more me saying, do I want this? It
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily that it's sort of been taken away from me or it wasn't never going to happen. It could have happened.
Mm.
But I think my desire changed. And I think, as you know, to see these things through, sometimes you have to really want it. You have to give it your absolute everything. And I sort of got to a point where I was going, do you know what? I actually think it's me. I actually don't want it as much as I think I do. Maybe I need to sort of like think about this. And that was sort of the hardest part about it, actually, the realization of
Mm.
everything you've ever worked, you know, you've worked towards and that you were passionate about. Suddenly that changes. And again, not having to break the news to your family then and going, do you know what, guys, like this is not working for me anymore.
I know.
That's the tough bit, actually.
I'm just imagining the look on your mum's face when you had that conversation.
Well, yeah, because like I say, they then really want it for you as well. So everyone's got sort of vested interests.
But you've not lost passion for music.
Definitely not. And again, that's the thing, you know, it doesn't mean that you don't want to sing anymore. You don't want to perform. You don't love any of that. It's just you want to do it on your own terms. You know how you want to live your life. Your priorities change. I didn't want to be sort of chasing people all my life. I wanted to
Yeah.
sort of create things for myself. That's the beauty of the industry now, isn't it? In entertainment, is there not even just singing? You know, you can create your own sort of vision and how you want it to work for yourself, even with like a podcast or
Absolutely.
a play or a dance. I don't know, whatever.
We love a good podcast.
I love podcasts.
Oh,
Yeah,
do you? I hope you
I
love
do.
our podcast.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to download all the episodes after this.
No, you know, our viewers, our listeners will go up if you do that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, no,
By a high
I
percentage. No, it's brilliant. This has been this project is, like I say, you fit the remit so well to what we're looking at, because we want to talk to the listeners about encourage them to have a go at things. But it's great what I love about what you've done you've taken away all the glitz and gone, look, we tried to do this, and this is what can happen. But I still love music and I still love doing what I do, but I'm doing it in a slightly different way now. So,
Yeah,
so if
definitely.
I say that, so from a point of view of jumping forward, and you said that you had help with your dad writing the book, and you've got that out. That's been really successful. You can get the book on Amazon, can't you?
You can get it on Amazon. Yeah. I mean, we're finding that, especially through Instagram, we're sort of connecting with lots of different readers who are really passionate about books. And they've just been going mad for it. Strangely, in countries like India, like just love the theme and the story. Like I say, I feel like you could apply my story to lots of different people's experiences.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is why
Jenny unfortunately couldn't come and do the interview with us today, so it was. But she said to pass on. She's read the book, and she said, and I agree with her. It's a very inspirational story. Do you know what I mean? It's something that in no way does it put people off. Say following the
no.
dreams. In fact, you're saying the opposite. You're saying do follow your dreams, but just be a little bit more aware of what's going on around you.
Yeah, like I say, I don't want to sort of like make people feel like they can't sort of reach for the stars. Absolutely, you should reach for the stars always. My message is sort of, if things whatever way things turn out for you, there's your journey has value. Everything you do has value, even if you decide that you don't like it anymore, or it's not quite right for you, or whatever, or even if it's the whole thing's amazing. Everything you do has value, because that's what stops a lot of people sometimes, because they think it's not worth anything, trying. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing about that. So nowadays, what are you up to now? I mean, because you're still writing and still singing, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
When we're allowed to.
I know exactly, when everywhere is open again. But no, typically I perform a lot at events and weddings and corporate sort of places. And yeah, I'm still writing songs, recording, and like I say, I've got really big plans for the book. I feel like this could become sort of a series of books. So that's my sort of next project. And like I think I said at the beginning, I'm recording the audio version of it. So that's keeping me busy at the moment. It's quite, your job is quite hard talking all the time. So I'm doing that now. I'm talking a lot, listening to
Have
my
you noticed I talk all the time? That's no, it's amazing, because you sent me one of your songs as well. So as we always do, we always play out with somebody's music, and we're going to be doing that today as well. So and so if people want to get in touch with you or want to get the book, what's the best way to do that, Vicky?
Oh, well, I'm on all the socials, as everyone is now. But yeah, you can get the book on Amazon. It's Scrapbook of an Unfound Songstress. And if you want to, contact me and say hello, I'm on Instagram. My name is Vicky Nolan, and I'm also on Facebook as well, so you can find me on there. But yeah, people should check it out. And yeah, I'm always on there, so feel free to say hello.
Talk to anybody. Just talk to anybody.
We're all addicted to social media, so yeah, reach out.
So just before we go, what I'd like to ask you is, obviously there's loads and loads nowadays. The kids all want instant gratification, don't they? They want to be superstars straight away. They all want, and it's things, I want to be famous, I want to be this. So anybody who's listening to this, who's either a parent that's got kids, or a kid that's got parents. So
yeah.
What from the experiences you've got, what's the advice that you give people when they start asking you for advice?
Oh gosh, you know what? I've probably got a lot to say, but I don't want to bore everyone.
You certainly won't be doing that, because that's why I've got you on.
The advice I would give is just always try and just keep doing things that make you happy, and just stay curious, keep evolving. That's what always will keep you inspired. That's what I found in my experience anyway. I just think, don't limit yourself to things. That's what's great about your podcast, as you mentioned. It's about exploring and discovering new things. So yeah, just always keep evolving. So yeah.
Well, we cover music and we cover books, and you've ticked two of those boxes today, haven't you, for us? So thanks so much. You've been an absolute superstar. Like I say, we're going to play out. We'll put all the links to your socials on the blog as well, so people will do that. And you've become friend of the show. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping to see you singing again soon.
I know. I think we're all hoping to get back out there again.
it would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know. I was going to say as well, the song that I sent you was produced by Ken Calais, who famously produced Rumours by and Tosk by Fleetwood Mac.
Really?
So I worked with him on about 5 songs.
Hang on, I'm just going to pick up that name you dropped then. It's
I just thought I'd mention it because he's such a cool guy, and he did a great job with my song that I wrote. So yeah, I just thought it is an interesting little factoid there for you.
So everyone should go out, get the book off Amazon, get it read, become inspired, and then listen to Vicky Nolan's music.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
The one thing people won't realise, Vicky, is I'm so pleased you managed to get the little phrasing from the gods and the goddesses at RS Club 7 when you said reach for the stars. People won't realise that we'd set that up. So
it's a classic. It's a classic.
Have a brilliant day, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing this with us. And
thank you.
We'll see you soon.